there and welcome to No Recipe Required. I'm Dave and today I'm going to show you how to do an appetizer that is really elegant, really delicious, and one that you can do for small parties, big parties, really just for yourself. It's that easy. The combination is a little bit of sauteed apple that we cook off in a little bit of butter, get it nice and tender and sweet. Then serve it with a little bit of Brie cheese, a little bit of jam on a cracker. It's absolutely awesome. Let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's go ahead and get started on our pear and Brie appetizer. I've got an apple here that obviously I've peeled off, and I'm going to make little slices. Now the very ends, these guys, just eat them. They're probably not all that useful for this recipe, but the rest of the slices here are exactly what I want. Kind of a half moon, eighth of an inch wide piece of apple, and depending on your party, one apple, one slice is going to make one little bite-sized appetizer, right? So you can see from one apple, we're going to get quite a few. So think about people, they may want 4, maybe 5 or so. There's another piece. We'll just eat that. So you don't need a ton of these, unless you think everybody's going to be really starving. They're certainly going to love them. Once you get these done, though, we're going to essentially saute them in a little bit of butter. Okay, after we've got our apples sliced up, we're going to saute them off in just a, well, not just a little bit of butter, in a fair amount of butter. I've got a nice little non-stick saute pan here over medium heat. I'm going to let that butter just kind of melt down, or mostly melt down, and then I'm going to add my apples, or apple slices, to the butter. And the goal is to get them nice and soft. A little bit of caramelization on them. We don't have to get them brown. So I'm not using high heat. I'm just kind of over medium heat, and I'm going to let them cook for probably a good 5 minutes or so. A little bit of salt here, and then a little bit of fresh ground black pepper. I'm going to let them go for about 5 minutes or so. Then we're going to come back and flip them, make sure they cook on both sides. And the goal is to get them nice and soft with just a little bit of toothiness to them, kind of like pasta or so. Okay, my apples have been going for now for 5 or 6 minutes. They there's little brown pieces in the pan, but you can see nice medium heat. They're by no means even caramelized. They're just browned up a little bit. I'm going to give these a little toss, just so I can get the other side. And as they cook, that butter is cooking also and browning and giving it a just a beautiful kind of nutty aroma to the apples, or both aroma and flavor to the apples. What I'm going to do once I've got most of these turned over, and you don't have to be again super diligent about getting them all over, is I'm just going to add a little bit of fresh thyme in there to get a little bit of herb flavor on there. And I'm using thyme. You can hear that crackle from the individual thyme leaves. If you want to use rosemary, would be pretty awesome in this dish as well. Once these go now for just another few minutes, I'm going to pull them off to a plate to cool. And if I haven't said it already, one of the nice things, you can do this a couple hours ahead of time. Get the apples cooked and just lay them out on a plate, and then come back when you're ready to put it all together. Okay, I am happy with my apples. Again, they're nice and soft, but they still hold their shape. They still have a little bit of feel to them when you bite into them. Obviously, only way to really tell is to give it a taste. So what I'm going to do, I've got a little plate here. I don't need all the butter, so I'm just going to kind of tilt the pan a little bit away from me and move those apples off to my plate and let them cool off for a few minutes. Spread them out a little bit so they don't steam on top of each other. And then we're going to come back and we're going to plate these up, or build our little Brie and apple appetizers. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you how to put together our Brie and apple appetizers. I've got just a little cracker here. You know, you can use anything. Size is kind of important. You want them to be maybe 1 or 2 bites. And I've got some Brie. My, you know, this Brie is fairly ripe, so, and some people frankly don't like the edges. So I shaved off the edges just to make it a little bit less powerful in terms of its cheesiness. I've got our sauteed apples here. I'm just going to lay one kind of across the, diagonally across, lay another diagonally across. A little bit of salt on there. It is a savory appetizer, a little bit of black pepper. And then I've also got just a touch of orange marmalade right there on the crostini. Let me set that aside. We'll do one more for you. A little bit of Brie, again, right down. You have some of your apples. I've got some pieces that are smaller than others. You know, I did 2 on the last one. No reason you can't do 3 on this one. You're trying to get, you know, that balance between the fruity, sweetness and the savoriness, and the apples and the thyme, and that pungent cheese. Lay that guy down there. Again, a little bit of salt, a little bit of fresh cracked pepper, and then I made a few others right here, and these are going to be a big hit at your next party. I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.